Hello everybody, this is Moo.
And this is Fuji.
We are jumping a little bit ahead in our Disney run through, but
Very far ahead.
it's not really part of the animated canon, but it is relevant. We just saw live action, Beauty and the Beast.
I mean, live action in as much as there was live people.
Okay, there are real people.
There were real
it's
people.
It's not drawn, okay?
Okay.
Besides the CGI Beast, yeah.
Yeah.
And
everything else.
Everything else. Except for Belle. She's not CGI.
Okay, so since we did just see this in the theater, obviously we weren't able to talk about it as we were watching.
No, not really.
So
besides whispering the occasional comment to each other,
I said it's the Phantom of the Opera. Anyway,
wouldn't be surprised if they have that visual reference. But
so we probably haven't we haven't discussed all the things that we've been thinking about. So this might ramble a little bit.
This is probably going to go long. I mean,
I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I mean, I assume so. It's going to be on. I'm not going to put this in like the playlist or something because it's not part of our run through.
Anyway,
it'll just be under like our movie, just us talking about movies. But anyway,
and this might also run a little bit long because I think we have to talk about the animated one if we're going to be talking about the live action one. So there's a little bit of both that's going on.
A little bit. We should go save most of our animation thoughts for when we get to that one.
That's true, but I mean, they're kind of...
We're going to compare anyway.
Yeah. And also to preface, I know of the stage show. I haven't actually seen it, though. So there's...
I technically have because my school did it. My high school did it for musical. I worked on I work backstage.
That's awesome.
My job was moving the well. That was my main job. And of course the props backstage. But my main job was moving the well. Because it came in and out through different scenes. And so I made sure I did my job well.
You can go home.
You're in my home.
Anyway.
So I have technically seen it.
Okay, so I'm gonna just trust you then with what content is from or not from
actually
other sources.
I didn't realize this, but I saw in the credits that the one of the exclusive songs is "Home," which is a song that Belle sings. And apparently it is in the movie, and I'm like, I guess I haven't heard it enough to recognize it really, but it might have been the part where Belle and the furniture were singing.
I think that was part of it.
Okay, I think that was. I don't think it was exact though, because I was like,
I've heard that song maybe 2 times. So
okay, yeah, I've heard that song like only a handful of times because when we had when Belle was singing it and in the production I was working on, I wasn't usually there. I was helping people backstage, so I usually wasn't around for that. Oh, my other job was to when the Beast transforms because we had we were able to hoist the Beast into the air. My job was to get the Beast gloves and mask and stuff, and before he came down and crushed me.
That sounds dangerous for a high school production.
I mean, yeah, but we loved our pulley system, man. Nothing ever went wrong, at least when I was there. So, but I was always worried because the guy.
So you didn't have a Phantom of the Opera?
No. That'd be very interesting though. But we never did Phantom of the Opera either because every time I brought it to my choir director, she'd just
find me a Christine.
Find me someone who could sing Christine's part, and I went, oh.
Okay, we're not talking about Phantom of the Opera. Except we are kind of talking about Phantom of the Opera because Phantom of the Opera is a Beauty and the Beast story.
It's inspired from it for sure. I mean, not this Beauty and the Beast story, but a Beauty and the Beast story.
They all kind of come from the same Cupid and Psyche thing.
Right. Granted, well, anyway, I liked it. I thought it was good.
I am gonna be blasphemous and say I liked it better than the animated one.
Oh, no way. You gotta turn in your Disney fan card right now.
Excuse me.
You gotta turn it in.
Okay, well, this is the thing. So, Beauty and the Beast came out when I was still young enough to not watch it and know what was really going on.
It was 91.
91. And by the time that I guess I finally stopped watching Lion King on repeat over and over to watch Beauty and the Beast,
Circle life.
By the time I actually got around to watching Beauty and the Beast, it's just not super nostalgic for me, I guess, the way that it is for other people. I will watch other movies, and I will make fun of them, and I will suddenly say, I want adventure in the great white somewhere. That's, the extent of my involvement with Beauty and the Beast, and I just thought this was a better film.
I like the animated version a little bit more, but mostly because I like how the animated film looks more. And that's not just because, in the theater edition, they dimmed the color palette due to 3D bullshit, but
and I'm so sure that when it comes out on home media that they're going to correct that because it's and okay, I will say from a technical standpoint, the animated one is better. There needed There needed to be wide shots. Like,
there were no wide shots.
You can pull your camera back farther. You can look at scenery.
What movie ruined wide shots? Come on, someone tell me.
I need to find out why people don't do wide shots. Or like mid shots even. Like, everything was just, like, close.
Yeah, no, I mean, we know that Battlefield Earth ruined Dutch angles. I just want to know who ruined wide shots.
But, please, I really hope that they fix, that they color correct it when they put it on DVD.
I'm sure they will.
It was...
That was the biggest downside, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen worse. Like, when, like, Suicide Squad was definitely worse.
That one was really
Holy
bad.
crap, especially the one part in the opening when, like, you go over and it has, like, the text at the bottom, but, like, it goes over a dark patch of area and you can't see it.
Last Airbender was really bad about it, too.
Oh my god, well, anyway, that's not, I don't want to go into Last Airbender tangent, that's...
Also, to be fair, the theater we went to was kind of crappy.
True, so that might have been that problem.
It might have been some of that,
but
too.
Even if that wasn't there, I think I would like the look of the animated version a lot more, but that's, like, more personal preference. I think the movie itself, if you, like, don't think of it as, like, an adaptation of the story, like, as just a movie, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. What did I say? It's, at the very beginning, I leaned over to Moo, and I said, Beauty and the Beast, fixing all our plot holes since 1991.
Yeah, she said that after, the fairy was, at the beginning, after he turns into a beast, is like, and then the fairy made the townspeople forget. And I was like, whoa, there we go, fix that plot hole.
And then, I guess we should say that there's spoilers in this.
What? No. No way.
In case anyone managed to get this far, and I mean, as much as you can spoil a movie that's technically been out for, like, 16 years.
Yeah, no, more than that. More than that, man. I was born in 92. I'm
That's
25.
Right. I'm sorry.
It's been around for, like,
in my head,
26 years.
It's still 2008 in my head.
You can't shake it, man.
This movie's been out longer than they were furniture.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Actually, in this movie, that's another plot hole that fixes the 12, 18 years or whatever it was.
They just
18.
say, too long, we've
too
been
long,
rusting.
which is from
needing so much more
musical.
than dusting.
Yeah, which is from the musical.
Yes.
Because they fixed it.
They fixed it in the musical.
Because
right
I think when they first did it, they didn't realize that would end up such a plot hole, because it's one of those things you just don't think about. You're like, oh wait, that would make him like 11. Oh crap! When he was turned.
See, I want to know, because I don't know much about the behind the scenes of this movie aside from the music.
I know a handful from the documentary Waking Sleeping Beauty. I need to watch it because it's been a while since I've seen it, and it was probably late at night, and I was painting plastic horses.
Because, like, I'm sure I know writers and I know animators, and I know that they would be like, you guys, this doesn't make sense. And it's like, it doesn't matter. We have a deadline. Let's just finish it. Or, like, someone thought of it. I'm sure someone thought of it.
Well, I know that the original idea was to have Beast be a child at first, but, like, it was rejected for basically being too silly. And, and they thought it was too silly to have it be a child Beast running around, and it would not be, like, a romance kind of deal.
Right.
And, something, I don't remember what they were thinking, but, like, point being
and
is...
the other thing, like, okay, and this is starting to get into some of the, like, pretty excited thoughts that I had. So, Beauty and the Beast actually was one of the ideas that Walt Disney was pitching around while he was still alive.
Yup.
And the reason why they never made Beauty and the Beast at the time was because Walt could not figure out how to make him not be an insufferable dick. He's like, this guy is a bad guy.
Oh, come on, they made Pinocchio so cute.
I know, right? And somehow, like, they just couldn't get the Beauty and the Beast story to work.
Yeah.
And from what I've read, and I mean, I'm sure there's more to this than that, but when they started working on Beauty and the Beast and people were still, like, trying to deal with this, how do you make this guy likable? It was Howard Ashman who said, this guy hates himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's, like, the core of the story, is this guy hates himself, and that's why, like, he can't,
He's also severely depressed.
Yeah, I mean, everything that's going on. And that, I think, brings us to something that I really got excited and wanted to talk about, but,
go ahead,
in the bathroom.
We're in the movie theater bathroom. She's like, oh, wait till we record, I gotta tell you.
So, I think, Beauty and the Beast, was the one that they were working on when Howard Ashman was very ill.
Yeah. He was dying of AIDS.
He was dying of AIDS, and someone, I can't remember where I read this, but someone pointed it out that, like, he probably, put a lot of himself into this, because this is a story about a guy who's being ostracized by the world and he's dying, when the rose runs out, his life is over.
Right, yeah.
And, it happens that the Beast, gets his happy ending, he gets, someone to be with, and he's, accepted by all the people again.
Right, and he comes back to life.
Yeah, and he comes back to life. And so I think this isn't a movie that you can really watch without bringing that into consideration.
Oh, totally, man. In case the people didn't know that Howard Ashman, he was a gay man. He had a husband too. I don't think they were able to be officially married.
They weren't
though.
able to be, not at that time.
No, and now he
But-
died before they could even do that.
Right, and
Unfortunately,
he died of HIV/AIDS, and I mean the thing is, you know, at that time everyone was dying of HIV/AIDS.
Yeah, that was terrible. There's a documentary. There's several on Netflix. There's one I watched. It was called How to Survive a Plague, and it's basically like, you know, about that. And they were interviewing all these people, most of them from California, where that was the center of the AIDS crisis. And it's so sad, but it's a really good documentary. It's very informative, but you're just like so sad. It's just so sad that like they talk about how pretty much everyone around them was dying.
And for a lot of that time, no one knew why.
Yeah, they couldn't figure out why they were dying. Like, why is their immune systems failing them like this? Like, how? And they couldn't stop the virus. And then, like, you know, of course, you know, being gay, there was already the stigma. And like people were dying on hospital steps. That's how bad it was. Like, because their families wouldn't admit them, or and the hospitals wouldn't let them stay. So they would just take these poor people out and let them die in the streets, pretty much. It was a terrible, terrible thing, and it didn't happen that long ago either. Like as we were saying, like this Beauty and the Beast was made in 1991. That's not too. I mean, yeah, that's like 26 years, but that's not that long ago if you think about it. It's not like a far off thing like the Black Plague. Which, speaking of the Black Plague, I was surprised that they had Belle and Maurice be Black Plague survivors. I didn't expect that at all. I was like, oh, we're really going into this, man. Which, if you think about it, maybe is that like a reference or something?
It might be.
You know, it's just occurring to me now.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that actually during that scene.
Yeah, when
knowing
Belle's mother died of the plague.
Yeah, knowing some of the meta context, you know, of which the original movie was being made.
There's no way they didn't have that in mind when they were making this, especially since Alan Menken was there.
Involved in it.
Yeah, he knew Howard Ashman personally, so God, so sad. But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Now that I think about it, it actually is interesting that they brought in the movie. Like, you know, like they pretty much had to leave Belle's mother because she was dying, and she didn't want Belle was a baby, and she didn't want her child to get the plague. Because they didn't at the time when the Black Plague hit, no one knew why it was hitting or how to stop it.
Just
like
that, you know, everyone was dying, and
people were dying in the streets, bodies were piling up. It was a very intense time probably to live in. I mean, yeah, we make jokes about it now and all that stuff because that was like what 200 years ago or something odd.
A bit more than that.
A bit more than that. I don't know. I'm really roughly guesstimating.
It's
basically,
okay.
Longer than the AIDS crisis, very much so. But
you realize that the United States is more than 200 years old.
Yes. I don't know.
It's okay.
I'm bad at math.
We're moving on.
I'm bad at math. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's continue.
We're moving on.
Just leave me alone. I'm bad at math, okay? And remembering numbers and all that good stuff.
But jumping off of that tangent, I liked the addition of backstory for like everybody.
I thought that, especially like the one with Belle and her dad. Like I really liked that actually.
And I thought, you know, okay, Belle and her dad were like some of the sweetest like father-daughter, you know, duos in Disney movies, and this just like took it up to 11. I'm gonna say this whole movie took everything up to 11.
I think it's not very often that you get to like this revisit a story and refix the plot holes and stuff,
and like with creative people, you know, like you make something and no matter how hard you've worked on it, there's still stuff that doesn't sit right with you.
Right.
And I just felt like this movie was having the opportunity to actually come back and do all of that stuff again in a really huge way. And I felt like it really showed. And I think a lot of thought, you know, went into all of the characters. Like, not only knowing that, you know, people know this movie by heart. Right. Like, the dialogue and the songs and everything. Like, people know this movie.
During the Be Our Guest, I heard people like humming
in the theater,
and muttering along to the songs. I was trying really hard not to sing along. It was very difficult. I was saying, like, I want to sing it, but I can't.
Also, all the audio was mixed really well. I've been thinking about that because of La La Land.
You have some criticisms against La La Land.
I do.
Even though neither of us have seen that movie.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard the soundtrack because we play it at work, like, all the time.
Yeah, you work at a bookstore, so you hear that stuff.
And I hear it all the time, and it's not mixed well. But this movie was mixed extraordinarily well, which it's a musical, so I hope that it would be.
Yeah, I think the only, like, criticism I have for, like, the music themselves, because I think everybody sounded fine. It sounded a little auto-tune-ish. I guess I'm just not used to that from, like, how I know the songs very well. I've heard them all my life. So it sounded a little bit on the autotune side sometimes.
I think
not
that
not just with one person, but all of them.
well, this is what I think is all of those songs were written for like a children's movie, and this was before in the early '90s. When they were writing these, musicals, it wasn't really about like the performance the way that it is now. Like now, when we listen to singers, like we want Idina Menzel, we want Adele, we want these people who have these ridiculous ranges and stuff.
Right.
But at the time, they were concerned about making a musical with like catchy musical numbers, because this is like just after they even started bringing back musical films.
Right.
And I think that it's maybe that the songs are actually not that technically demanding.
Yeah.
Because, anyone can sing those songs from that movie.
More or less, yeah. I mean, Belle's range is pretty easy to hit, and so was everybody else's. I was glad they gave the Beast more songs, because in the original, he was voiced by a singer. If I understand right, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but
I think you're right.
That guy was a singer, and they didn't really give the Beast songs that I could think of, except for the Something There Before part. He sings in that part, but he doesn't sing anything else. And I thought that was nice that they gave him some music. Yay, Beast! Get some songs, boy. But where was I? Well, I don't know.
We were talking about backstories for different characters.
Right. Okay, so I liked Belle and her dad, Maurice. I like their little backstory. I thought that was pretty cool to see how they came to be in this town.
Okay, when they were talking about the Beast backstory, and there was that moment where it's like, Belle's mom died, the Beast's mom died, I almost wanted it to be like, my mom's name was Martha.
Martha!
Okay, no, but...
Sorry, no, but it was just Superman.
But I felt like, okay, I really appreciated the Beast, like, having backstory and, like, showing that, like, a lot of thought, I think, went into this.
Yeah.
Like, making him still work as the same character in the same universe, but, like, making sense.
Yeah, I could see, yeah, definitely. Though, I think it was a little bit weird to give him the Freudian excuse thing, like, my dad was an asshole, therefore I became the asshole. But, granted, though, by the time we see Beast, he's been under that curse for, like, I don't know, a long time.
A long time.
Say.
And I liked that they had the servants acknowledge their role in why they were cursed, too.
Yeah, actually, I did like how it wasn't just because they were there. They said, after his mother died, the king took him in, and he wasn't a very nice man, and they did nothing to stop, the dad from abusing him, it sounded like. Just from what we hear, and the subtext we're getting, and turn him into such a brat, for lack of a better term. And they said, like, we feel kind of responsible for this, too, because we didn't do anything.
They never stepped in.
Right. When they could have. And I don't know how royalty works. I don't know if you even were able to do that as a servant, but this is a fantasy world, so I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think because at the end they show, the Beast hugs Lumiere, and it shows that there's, really a closeness there that, to quote, there wasn't there before.
But, like, how, like, invested then we're helping him out, and, of course, helping themselves out. I mean, they did the plot point, which I did like this plot point, and I'm glad they put it in this, too, where they were slowly becoming non-sentient furniture over time.
Like, it adds to the urgency.
Yeah, like, you just, like, that, once the petal falls, like, they're stuck as inanimate objects forever. Like, that's it. They're stuck as inanimate objects forever. And, they put they added that plot point in the musical, and I'm glad they put it in here. I was kind of hoping they would. I assumed they would, but I'm glad it was actually.
Because it's so good. How can you not add it?
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good plot point, because then you're sitting there like you really feel bad for these people. I mean, not just because they're sentient furniture, because in the animated version, it's like, okay, so they can still walk around and interact with each other, right? But no, not in this.
I didn't think
they're gonna turn into a clock, man.
I didn't think you could ever make a yard full of junk be like the saddest clip in a movie.
I didn't expect them to do that. We got to see them turn back into the animate objects when that rose petal fell. I didn't know they were gonna show that.
Oh, okay. Here,
oh
so
my
this
God,
is what.
So sad.
So we were talking about the Enchantress, or she and I were talking about the Enchantress earlier, and because you were saying she's in the movie. Basically, the Enchantress stays involved throughout the movie.
She has like one line on screen, but she's there.
She's there, and she, has important stuff that she does.
She's called Agatha.
Yes, and so Moo, you were saying that, like, you weren't sure how you felt about her being there, but this is...
Yeah, like, mostly I wasn't sure if I liked it that she was there or not. I mean...
Okay, well, this is my feeling, is that sort of a repeated theme that we got in this movie. Cat, that's my bag.
Shadow, stop.
Sort of a repeated theme that we got in this movie was the idea that of hope not being lost.
Yeah.
If I don't know if you caught it, but like at the very beginning, the Beast says, you know, they've all been damned, they're, you know, cursed forever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
When Belle goes in and you know, touches the rose, then the Beast is like, "You've almost damned us."
Yeah, you almost put us into something internal damnation, basically.
And so that's sort of the first time when it's like, well, we're in this situation, but he's actually still holding out hope that they might get out of it.
I mean, I guess if he didn't have any hope, he would just not care what happened about the rose, but he does.
Right.
He keeps it in a glass thing.
We see what happens when he loses hope, right? He doesn't. He just, you know, sits there and like gets shot.
Yeah, he got shot in the shoulder.
And this happens a couple of times. I can't remember all of them now, but this idea that like they're saying everything's so bad, but then, you know, maybe we can make it better.
Yeah, maybe we can get out of this.
And I think that this is something that probably the writers are really aware of. That Beauty and the Beast has been criticized for, you know, portraying Stockholm syndrome, for like the idea that
when
you
people
can,
bring that up.
Okay, I'm continuing.
Anyway, keep going.
Or like the idea that like you can redeem, you know, terrible abusive people, and I think that they treaded real carefully on this, because I think that there's also a flip side to it, which is that people are capable of redeeming themselves.
Right.
Like people are capable of changing for the better, and I think that's what the story is trying to be about. And it's harder to sell that now in 2017 than it was in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because in the early 90s, we didn't have all of these movies coming out. People didn't have that criticism of Beauty and the Beast when it came out.
No.
You know, people grew up.
Or at least it wasn't popular.
That too. But, like, people, like, grew up and became more cynical. And I think that's why it's harder to sell that now. And so that's why I think this thread of having the Enchantress herself never really give up hope on the Beast.
And still be there and not just fuck off.
Right. Like, the idea that, like, people can change.
Yeah.
And when she sees that they've changed, she steps in and, you know, a little bit deus ex machina, but, you know, she comes in and she does fix it because he deserves it at the end.
Right. I think what she, like, saw is because she saw this, like, random person mourning the Beast when, like, you know, beforehand, like, you know, that wouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of deal. I mean, I don't think the Stockholm Syndrome is a accurate criticism of the original Beauty and the Beast, because if Belle did have Stockholm Syndrome, she wouldn't have left.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, but plus she doesn't start like getting along with the Beast until he stops being a jerk, basically.
And I mean, I can see both sides of that, and I think this movie wrote it a lot more carefully to avoid that happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, and this is the thing that I thought with Gaston and LeFou, is that showed LeFou actually getting out of what is basically an abusive relationship.
You could, definitely. I mean, even if you romantic or not, it is not an abusive relationship. Yeah. Actually, because you know what, I did overall like what they did with LeFou, despite, you know, having my reservations going in. In case you guys know, LeFou is a gay, as the kids call
canon gay.
He is the canon gay, and even though in this movie it's not. It's more subtexty. I'm gonna say E because to me it was pretty obvious that he had it for Gaston. That's why he spent all this time with him.
But you're also watching it from the perspective of a queer person.
Yes, that's right. So I don't know if it will come off that way to anybody else. I think I'm gonna say no because it's able to air in places outside the United States.
Yeah.
Even though there are countries who've considered banning it, but then they decide not to. But but since it's being aired outside the United States, I'm going to say no. But as a queer person and someone who can see these kind of things, I thought it's obvious to me that he has it for Gaston. That's why he sticks by him. That's why he's like his buddy. But in the end, the relationship is abusive. And in the original, like, you know, Gaston's like throwing LeFou around, throwing stuff at his face, and like we see that a lot with the psychic characters in Disney movies in particular. Because, like, remember in Black Cauldron when the Horn King had that little goblin dude and he was, like, choking him, throwing him across the room, that stuff. We see that pretty often, but it's not really, it doesn't really go examined very much in these movies. But this one pretty kind of did in like the way where, like more than like not said outright, but like when LeFou, like, basically one of the pianos landed on him during the castle raid scene, and he goes, Gaston, help me, help me. And Gaston's like, nah, I gotta go be a hero, bye. And like leaves him, and at that moment LeFou realizes like this guy
is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of started when Gaston's like, I'm gonna leave Belle's dad in the woods to die.
Oh, and
I like that they added that, actually.
The other thing is LeFou's line during the mob song. So, I mean, all the songs, had lines, added and deleted here and there. Which, by the way, my favorite line, which I think was actually coming from the musical, was or I can't remember if it was in the movie, no one comes up with these endless refrains like Gaston.
I think that was from the musical. I don't think it's from the movie.
Anyway, but LeFou gets a new line during the mob song in which he's following Gaston, but he says something about there is a beast, but I can't remember now what it was, but it's like the thing that's all around us.
Yeah, he does say something like that. I thought that was a good line too.
I thought that was really good because, I mean, that's even before, the obvious, we're no longer aligned with each other. Like, that's the first point where LeFou is showing doubt about this.
I mean, you see it kind of in the beginning, like, but that's mostly because of the one action, but in that scene, he's seemed about all of Gaston, not just the one action of leaving Maurice to die in the woods.
Well, all of Gaston, but when he says, this, the beast that's surrounding all of them, he's really talking about the whole village, I think.
I think he is,
And, I mean, we've established at the beginning that this village has no problems ostracizing people. Like,
nope.
That scene, actually, that shot of Belle, walking through the crowd is really powerful. And I think it stands out to a lot of people. And I think it's also maybe telling that they had the canon gay character say that.
I agree, yeah. I really do agree. Because, in this time period, not like the dude could be outward, but for sure. But, I think, like, I was a bit worried going in handling it because, in queer literature, especially, like, for a long time, and even still to this day, in queer media, here's two ways they went. The love is unrequited, or death. Either for the one person or both people, or usually, sometimes it's usually suicide. So, like, basically the end of those stories say, you
can't get your happy ending.
You'll never have a happy ending. And that's what I was worried about going in, because I knew for a fact, like, just going in, that Gaston is not going to return LeFou's affections, ever. And so I was like, oh boy, I'm not sure how they're going to handle this. But in the end, I think they did overall pretty good, because
spoiler, LeFou gets a pretty happy ending.
He gets a dude. It's a pretty dude.
Yes.
Like, at the ball scene, like, he's dancing with, like, at the very end of the movie, they have, like, a big old ball, because, woo, we remember we have royalty, and we get to be with our loved ones again, because apparently there were relatives in the village, like, we find Mr. Potts.
Yep.
There's
what happened to Mr. Potts.
Now we know, like,
we know.
He was a villager, and because the spell happened, he forgot he had a wife and child, so, when at the end he got reunited with her, and his son, and I thought that was really nice, but, like, I like that addition. But anyway, they had, like, the dancing scene, and at first LeFou's like dancing with one of the ladies, and I'm like, oh, well, whatever, and but then, like, because if you don't know anything about older dances and medieval dances, usually in a big group like that, they change partners frequently, and they did change the partners, and LeFou got partnered with the dude, and they had to look at each other like hard eyes kind of expression, like, ooh, hello, like, kind of deal. And that's the last thing you see for LeFou, and I was like, oh, actually I kind of like that, that's nice.
So, I mean, as much flack as original Beauty and the Beast gets for, like, supposedly glorifying, like, abusive relationships, I felt like this was a really nice kind of subversion, or at least response to that.
I think response is a good way to put it. I mean, yeah. And, what did you think about them handling LeFou?
I mean, like, the same as you said, to me, the subtext felt more obvious, I think, than it might be to people who are not looking for it. Like, and this is the thing, I think that, to the average person to whom queer issues don't come up, they might honestly play off a lot of those things just as jokes.
Yeah. Which
I think is, in a way, it's not, they weren't offensive jokes, though.
No, I don't think, I mean, I didn't take it as, like, just jokes. I took it as
just,
like,
just
subtext.
watching it, I was like, I see what you did there. But it was, like, written in a way that I think normalized, LeFou as a character. And it wasn't, I think maybe until the end that some people might be like, oh, they were being serious.
Yeah. I liked it better than how this is a little bit controversial to say this because I am one of the few people who don't like the movie Paranorman, and in the end of that movie, I guess kind of spoilers for Paranorman, but sort of. Anyway, at the end of the movie, you find out that the jock character that Norman's sister is hitting on the entire movie is gay, and he has a boyfriend. And you don't find this out until like at the end of the movie, and the sister's like, "Oh, we should go to a movie." He's like, "Oh yeah, I have to take my boyfriend. He loves chick flicks." And that's how you find out he's gay. And a lot of people at the time were just like, "Oh yeah, gay representation." I'm like, okay, but that wasn't until the end of the movie, and it was dropped in as a joke and nothing else. And you get no indicator or words about him being gay before this, or even like, I mean, I don't mean like, having him been like the stereotype or anything, but like I didn't think that was I don't know. I didn't agree with people saying that that's progressive.
I think
if that
that's
makes any
your.
sense.
I think that's your writer's side coming out a little bit too, because
Yes.
when that was dropped in, like I can see, in favor of it, for casual representation, but also like Paranorman is not a movie about relationships.
No, have you seen Paranorman?
I have seen the beginning half and I've seen the second half, but I have not seen them together.
That's okay. The second half, the last 10 minutes are the best part.
Okay. But okay, Beauty and the Beast is a love story.
Yes.
And like,
collecting your thoughts, dude?
I am collecting my thoughts.
You're a little bit tired, too.
I'm a little not into relationships. I'm in a relationship, but I'm not, like, into relationships, so they're not terribly interesting to me, so maybe that's why I can talk about it like this. That Beauty and the Beast is a love story, and, like, people go because they want to watch that process of people, like, falling in love, like, coming from weird situations and, like, meeting each other and falling in love and stuff, which is why I thought that LeFou being canon gay was important to establish and maybe talk about, because this is a movie about relationships.
You know what? It pretty much is a parallel if you think about it.
It is a parallel.
Because
that's
like,
how they wrote it.
When Beast is a jerk to Belle, she's like, "No, fuck off," and for lack of a better word, and they don't start developing the relationship, and she doesn't want to stay around him until he starts to stop being a jerk. But when Gaston is a jerk, to LeFou stays and keeps like thinking like, "Oh, one day he'll notice me, senpai," or for a good way to phrase it, or the best way I can phrase it. Maybe not the best, but anyway. And so like having that as a parallel, I think is actually after seeing the movie, I can see why they chose LeFou out of all the characters to make gay. Granted, I kind of wish he was the only one, but I'll take what I can get for now. So, I could see why they chose that, because that actually does make a very good parallel to have in the movie, is besides just having Gaston and Beast be opposites of each other, which was the case in the original too. Just like, ugly outside, or like an ugly outside, beauty inside, vice versa kind of deal. And I kind of like that addition in the end, if I really think about it, because I think it's like it's a very good storytelling device. It's very good in the narrative. I think it ties in very well. I think
as a film, it's better than the other one.
You're gonna get a little bit of flack for that, I imagine.
I don't care.
But I think like narrative wise, I think maybe live action is a little bit better. But like, I guess I don't feel too strongly about it either way, honestly, because like I guess Beauty and the Beast is not really a movie I grew up with, even though I love it. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. I really do love Beauty and the Beast. I love it a lot, but when I was growing up, I don't have the strong nostalgia factor as a lot of people have.
Right, same.
Yeah, because I was born in '92, so yeah. While I was around, I knew all the songs that I've seen in the movie, etc., etc. I saw the horrible mid-cool and the spin-offs, and that's a different subject.
Let's not talk about that right now.
We're not going to talk about gay organ Tim Curry. Speaking of gay characters,
there is a straight harpsichord in this one.
Straight harpsichord. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop. I'm thinking about gay organ Tim Curry in that dumb end movie, but I'm gonna move on from that. What was my point? Oh yeah, me not having nostalgia for it, cause like I'm more like what am I nostalgic for? I'm not entirely sure Disney movie wise. I guess maybe Mary Poppins, cause that's the one you
watched all the time.
Yeah, gee, guess why I watched it all the time? Just guess why I liked it so much. Had nothing to do with my real name. Being Mary.
Well, your real name is Poppins.
Yeah, my real name's Poppins.
I think I made that joke already once.
I think we have made this joke before, but I just like making it anyway because it's funny to me.
Anyway, mine was Lion King.
What? No.
Yeah, just a bit.
No way. I think like the one I saw in theaters, the one I liked a lot was Pocahontas. That movie doesn't hold up well for me.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Holy, okay, we got
Okay,
to say,
we've
but
been talking for like half an hour. This is why we're rambling now. This is
well, I mean, this is gonna happen. We're doing a freeform podcast style discussion, dude.
it's true.
I mean, it's gonna happen. But anyway, so my point being is like, I guess I don't feel strongly either way. For me, like I like both of them. Like it doesn't like one outweigh the other.
Oh yeah,
really,
yeah. I
in my
mean, I'm not
opinion.
saying like I dislike the original.
No,
Like,
I totally
definitely
get it.
like it, but I appreciate like the chance to get a do over. You don't always get a chance to do a do over.
So when's a do-over for Hunchback of Notre Dame without the gargoyles?
That would be the stage show.
That doesn't count. I want a movie version.
Well, they made the animated Beauty and the Beast, and then they made the stage show Beauty and the Beast, and now they've made the live action Beauty and the Beast. So I mean, I feel like Hunchback is coming up.
But the second question is, if they do a Hunchback live action, where are they gonna have it rated?
As if ratings mean anything anymore.
True, but I did see Children at Watchmen when I sought to see that in theaters. That was rated R. There was a 2-year-old in the audience. She was
Kids
crying.
at Deadpool.
There were kids at Deadpool. There were kids at the school I work at. They're like, I've seen Deadpool, and I'm like, oh my god. You know what pegging is now. Oh my god.
Hey, Kitty, I almost sat on you.
Kitty. But anyway, my cat's walking by because he's being annoying. But I have no idea where I was going with that. But point being is,
okay, can I say though,
I like that they did do
the Be Our Guest sequence blew me away though.
Yeah, you really like that one?
I really liked it.
I like the water fountain part. That was really cool.
Yes.
I also liked how Belle kept trying to reach for the food and eat it. It kept like flying away. Which is something she didn't do in the original, because she would be really hungry at that point.
See, I remember, I think I might totally be just like pulling stuff out of my butt now, but I feel like I remember reading something about like Ellen Menken or somebody saying that this number had to sell like the castle. Like, this girl turns up, she's by herself, this guy is a massive dick, and it's like, everything sucks. You know, everything sucks at that point. And here they're gonna have this musical number with like dancing silverware, and they had to sell it.
Yeah.
And I felt that this sequence did the original sequence homage.
Yeah, I think it did a good job. I mean, once again, I like how the animated edition looks more than this one, but I think they did a good job overall. It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the moving furniture kind of creeps me out a little bit, but I think they're supposed to anyway.
Oddly, it was a little less Disney acid trip than the original.
It was, wasn't it?
Somehow.
How do they do that? I also, speaking of designs, I really like how they did the feather dusters and made them look like peacocks.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. I thought that was really pretty.
It's because if they did the animated style ones, it'd be really freaking creepy.
It would also, not only would it be creepy, but it'd be boring as hell. So I could see, I'm glad they made that change and made her like a more of a, made a Plumette, is that how you pronounce her name?
Plumette, yeah.
They made Plumette and the other feather dusters like more fancy, like, you know, like, oh, you would find this really fancy ass feather duster as like a flying peacock and her flying around. That animation was really pretty. I like that.
Okay, Belle talking to the hairbrush was hilarious.
She's
no
like,
one can tell me that's not hilarious.
Like, no. Everyone and like all the furniture in the room.
That's
like,
a hairbrush.
Like, no. I mean, I don't blame her. I would want to clarify too. Also, I liked how Belle's first instinct when she like is like in that tower and then she sees all that fabric, looks out the window, looks at the fabric. All right, I know what I'm doing. Makes a cloth rope. She's like, all right, I can get it to the bottom, and she tries, and I'm like, it shows you how tall that tower is. So it's like, yeah, keep trying, Belle. You got this.
Also, my heart just super warmed when LeFou catches Mrs. Potts so she doesn't break.
Oh yeah, I like that. I
love that.
I was a little bit I was a little bit concerned, but then he caught it. I was like, ooh.
Okay, you like freaked out when Chip like threw his
oh
saucer
god,
thing.
I was scared. I was because like when
Chip. Okay, so when they're turning back into inanimate objects, I can't
or
say that
back
word.
into inanimate objects, mean turning into inanimate
turning into inanimate objects. So Mrs. Potts, you know, turns into a teapot, and all of a sudden you hear Chip, you know, screaming
for his mom,
and he comes flying in from off screen, and he's been riding on a little saucer the whole time, and the saucer hits the ground and shatters
into a million pieces,
and Moo like freaked out.
I was like, oh my god, they're gonna kill her. I thought for a second they were smash the poor thing, and I didn't know if I wanted to see that. But no, the Coat Rack, who was the MVP of the movie.
Coat Rack was the MVP of the movie.
He caught it and put Chip next to his mama, and then turned back into a Coat Rack. And I was like, okay, give me a heart attack, Jesus Christ! It's the fact that the saucer shattered that made me worried.
You like made a noise.
I was scared. I didn't want to see the poor kid get shattered into a billion pieces. I mean, granted, I did replog, I did, see a post a while ago where someone was like, when one cup smashes, Chip's consciousness moves to another one, like, but I don't know if that's actually true, or if that could be a thing, but it's not. Actually, you know what I'm glad they got rid of that's kind of like a plot hole, is, like, all the other teacups with faces.
Yes. They did
So
get
you
rid
sit
of
there and go,
those.
how many children does Mrs. Potts have? Because they show, back in the cupboard, Chip, and then there's all those sleeping cups, and you're just like, wait, are those kids too? Mrs. Potts, I have some questions. But no, they just had Chip. They didn't have, like, any of the
Bazillion children.
Yeah, so I'm glad they got rid of that, covering up a weird plot thing or what thing. But I mean, it always kind of bothered me a little. So I was like, oh, I wonder how they're gonna do that in this movie. No, I'm still bothered by what the heck silver is supposed to be, though. Who are they? Why do we only see them once? Are they okay with being shoved in someone's mouth?
Maybe the ones that get shoved in people's mouths are real silverware.
The rest are just sentient, the ones that were dancing?
Yeah, the ones that are dancing.
Okay, I can go with that, but I was always a little bit concerned about that.
Since we have established that there are real inanimate objects.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they established that.
Yeah, because that was a question that people had from the first movie. It's like, is everything a person? What happened to the things?
That's Larry. He turned into a brick wall. Yeah, actually, yeah. Now I think about it, I don't think they addressed that in the anime version.
No, they don't. That's why people complained about it. Oh, also,
good job, guys.
I know that the Tangled sequence is riffing off of the Beauty and the Beast sequence, but when I saw it in the live action, I was just like, flowers.
Actually, I thought of Shrek. There's a part in Shrek when
yes, that's on purpose.
Okay, yeah, I know it is, but that's what I immediately thought. I'm like, God damn it, Shrek, you ruined that moment in the movie for me forever.
See, she's more nostalgic for Shrek than she is for Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my god. Fuck. I am. No. I was the right age group for that.
You were the right age group for
that. Oh, man.
I'm a bit older than Moo. Not by a lot.
No, not by too much, but enough that we would have different times when we'd be in the target age group for exactly what it is. for whatever the media is. But, like, yeah, I was a little kid. I saw Shrek in theaters. Actually, you want to hear something funny? So, I remember this. At the very end of the Shrek movie, I got to the end and I turned to my mom and I went, hey mom, do you think they'll make a sequel from this movie? Like, you know, if you don't have children or something? My mom goes, no, they wouldn't do that. There's nowhere else for the story to go. And I'm like, well, okay. Cut to several years later, we get Shrek 2. And 3. And 4. And we might get a 5th one. Because, fuck you.
Oh, speaking of 5th, pirates.
Ugh, we're not talking about pirates. Besides the fact I probably want to go see it anyway, because I do enjoy the Pirates movies. Even the 4th one, even though the 4th one's not that good. Granted, there's a lot of people that argue that the Pirates movies are not that great anyway, but yeah, it's
based on a
pirates
park ride. It's
pirates, man. Who doesn't like pirates? Yo ho, yo ho.
We are totally distracted.
Pirates like for me. Anyway, Beauty and the Beast, right? Anything else adaptation wise? Oh, they making Gaston a soldier.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was. I was worried a little bit if they were gonna like weebify him in that case, because I first heard by someone saying, "Oh yeah, Gaston has PTSD and and is a soldier," and I'm just like, "What? Okay." But in the movie, I don't think he has PTSD.
It's not PTSD.
No, he just really likes violence because.
He's an asshole.
It's the part when Josh Gad. Wow, well, that is Josh Gad.
It is Josh Gad.
I mean, LeFou like calms Gaston down by describing a battlefield and murder and blood and shit, and then he's like,
widows, hundreds
widows.
of widows.
Oh yeah, that's much better. And I was just like, yeah, he doesn't have PTSD. Fuck off, whoever wrote that article. Like, he does not have it. Like, I guess I kind of liked that it was there. I mean, I guess it gave him like a little bit of a prestige among the villagers, if you think about it.
It does explain more.
Because he's a captain.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, in the original movie, he's, like, a really accomplished hunter, and he's really handsome.
Yeah,
and
charismatic.
And that was okay, but I felt like this really sold it. You know, why people really look up to him.
Yeah, because this is, like, I don't know, I guess, if I had to guess, I guess he's, like, a war hero or something, or maybe he says he is, and people believe him because he's a captain. Or was a captain. We don't know if he technically is still enlisted in the army. I'm gonna say no, even though he wears his army shit still, but he can still wear his army shit and not be enlisted anymore.
I mean, this movie is a little anachronistic anyway, so...
Yeah, the Beast says the word tourist.
That was funny.
I sat there and I went...
That was funny.
That distracted me. I'm sorry, I couldn't accept that one. I can understand why you think it's funny, but I was just like, no, that term didn't exist back then. Why are you using it? Granted, there's probably a lot of terms that they use that weren't back there in this time period. But that one just really just stood out to me. Out of all of them, I just went. Also, here's something I like that they added. Another thing besides Gaston being a captain is the bookstore that Belle goes to. It only has like 10 books.
That makes so much more sense,
doesn't it? Like that's why it's that makes even more when Belle's so excited to see all the books in the Beast Library because she probably has only seen like what handful of books in her life.
Also, I like that they made the Beast well educated. I felt like they dropped the ball on that before because it used to be that he was like illiterate and like didn't.
He forgot how to read.
Yeah.
Actually,
no, it was that he never learned.
Really?
In the musical, he says he never learned.
Oh, that's right, he does, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm thinking of the movie because I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I heard I don't know. But anyway,
because I remember her teaching him how to read.
Yes, I remember that. But what I was but I have mixed feelings on that because I kind of like that she helped him relearn how to read. I've always thought that he just forgot because he hadn't in such a long time.
I'm pretty sure it's that he never learned.
Okay, I'll just go with that because I don't know for sure. But I guess I kind of liked that, but I could see why they dropped it too. Like,
because I think it goes with the same. Yeah, like he's a prince. Like, there's no reason why he wouldn't have learned how to read as a child. But
yeah,
like,
unless you have really shitty teachers.
Nah, that's it. But I like that because it kept playing into the theme of like, despite your initial impressions, like there's more to people.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I guess I have a little bit mixed feelings on it, but I'm okay with it overall, personally. Though I did think it was a little bit on the cliche side. I was like, oh, you like Romeo and Juliet?
Well, it's funny because it shows that, like, okay, and I guarantee that, like, writers were super aware when they were writing those lines is that Romeo and Juliet is not, like, the fine art that the popular image of it.
Yeah, that's true.
But Belle is from, like, a small town. She left Paris when she was a baby.
You know what? It sounds like during that exchange, it sounded like, because she's like, oh, I love Shakespeare. My favorite's Romeo and Juliet. It's really that one. And she had like, look confused. I'm wondering if that was the only Shakespeare one. Because there were only like a handful of books in that church place, whatever that was. Bookstore?
I don't know.
It had a cross on the wall, man. It had a crucifix on the wall. I was like, what is it supposed to be?
On the other hand, this is France in the something
years
after the
Black Plague. After the Black Plague, but wherever that was.
But she probably
I'm thinking that was the only one she's read.
In comparison to the rest of the villagers, she's really well read, but she might actually not be that well read.
Not really. She's well read for the place she's in, and she could read more, of course.
And I think that's the point. Is that like her world gets bigger at that point because. And again, this is the 2000s, like, when girls are like, my favorite play is Romeo and Juliet, like, you have this image, right?
Right.
You have this image of people whose favorite play is Romeo and Juliet, and they think it's, like, a romantic play and stuff. And I felt like the Beast then showing her the library and showing her reading, he was holding in his arms as many books as were in the bookstore.
Yeah, and she was, like, she was just throwing books on top of his pile of books because she wants to read all the books because of course she does. She's Belle.
And I felt like, especially to writers, like it just shows someone's world getting so much bigger.
Yeah, it made me really happy how excited. I always like that scene when how excited she is to be around the books, but I felt a little bit more impactful in this one because we see like there's like 10 books that she's been able to read her entire life, and this is all the books that she can read, and it's if I was in that position, I'd be blown away too. And I really do. Yeah, I definitely believe that Romeo and Juliet was the only Shakespeare that place had, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you're like, oh, I love Shakespeare. My favorite's Romeo and Juliet. If I, oh my goodness, there's more. Like, and maybe her mind would change after that. I don't know, but they don't go back to that. But yeah, I think that was really cool. I kind of like that. Also,
I'm a little sad they took out the Aladdin shout out.
Yeah, oh well.
That's the only thing I'm a little bummed about.
Okay, I got a question. Have you read any version of the original Beauty and the Beast tale?
The original one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, do you remember a magic book?
I do not.
I don't remember one either. Where'd that book come from?
By the way, speaking of, I can show you the world.
So, in case you guys don't know, there was a magic book in this movie. Stop! No, we're not Aladdin yet. You gotta wait! Anyway, there was this magical book that you could, like, I think is like you could
travel anywhere.
You could pretty much travel anywhere in the world. and I don't know like what the logistics of that or anything, but it's only used for the one part. But and I was like sitting there like, because that's not in the animated movie and that's not in the musical, so I was like, where did that come from? I've never heard of that before. So
It might be in some version, but I don't remember. I remember the magic mirror.
Magic Mirror's in all the versions, yeah. The because like here's the original Beauty and Beast, the servants were invisible, and because they were made invisible after the curse, that was their curse. They were turned invisible, and I actually really liked how the rose thing came into play,
back
because the reason why in the original that Belle's dad gets caught is that he's going to market, and he has 3 daughters in the original one, and two of his daughters ask for like this stuff, and Belle says, oh, can you get me a rose? And that's all she wanted. And he's like, sure. So when he ends up at the courtyard and he sees these beautiful roses, he's because like in the original he's taken care of actually, and before sent on his way, Storm ends, he sees the roses and he's like, ooh, I should bring this for Belle, because Belle was his favorite, and not bratty depending on the version you read, but he picked it, and then the beast is like, I can't believe after I gave you my hospitality you stole from me, so here's dungeon for you. But I like that they put the roses in like in this version and make it even more why the beast decided to pounce on him, because he picked the rose and took it from his garden, and it's his stuff, because he's angry and in beast mode. And
okay, stop. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Rawr. Yes, continue.
No, I'm just saying I'm gonna stop you from saying anything more about beast mode.
I'm not gonna say anything else about beast mode. Basically, there's a pair of pants that has sweatpants and Hot Topic that say beast mode on it, and I think it's funny. So I've been referencing that. I think it's funny. So anyway, I think I kind of like that. I like that addition basically, but I don't know where the book came from.
I don't know that either. That might be worth looking into.
Okay,
I just feel like so many plot holes got filled, and maybe 25 years from now we'll have another remake where they fill more plot holes from this movie.
Maybe make some new ones on accident. Did they make any accidental new ones this time around?
It felt like such a tightly written movie, and I
would have to think about it. Actually,
that's my biggest weakness about movies is like tightly written movies.
Oh, it's written really well. You know what I really liked? I liked the scene with the rooftop and when Gaston is going after the beast. I mean, I kind of liked the animated one a little bit more because I thought it was a bit dynamic with the lighting and shit. But I really liked this one a lot because it was really tense, and Belle was up there with them, and I was really certain that Gaston was going to try and shoot her. I was like, oh my god, he's going to shoot her. Holy shit. And the fact that I was even worried about that, even though I've seen this movie and I know how it goes, is telling to how good they were doing the tension in that. And also, I do like that he used the gun instead of a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Because it goes more with Gaston, because I always thought that was a little bit weird that he's like, now I'm going to use my bow and arrow instead of a gun.
Yeah. This is a small thing. I'm really glad that when the beast died, his eyes stayed open.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's a small thing, but I'm really
I thought he was going to close his eyes, but his eyes stayed open and it was good with me. Especially since the beast eyes are really important.
Yeah.
Because, like, also, I did kind of like how...
and also, in the live action, he has the decency to turn back into a man instead of a weird beast man thing.
He looks so much better in this version.
Because he's a real person.
All I can think about is everyone makes jokes about that. Like, turn back.
I'm a real boy.
Turn back. Turn him back. Turn him back. Put it back.
I did enjoy the, at the end when she's like, would you consider growing a beard?
She's a furry. Belle's a furry.
I don't think anyone ever had any doubts about that.
She's a furry. Granted, with the Beauty and the Beast story, that's gonna happen. And, where was I going? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did like how the Beast looks a lot better and not whatever the fuck they did with his human design in animated version. But I was gonna say, when they, like, see each other again, I do like how that was done with no dialogue. Like, they had a little bit in the animated version, but it was no dialogue. She's, like, looking at him like, I don't know, and then she, like, looks at his eyes and is like, oh, I recognize you from your eyes. And actually, when they were designing the Beast, that's how to decide to make him more human, is his eyes, and to make them, like, bigger and more, like, expressive. And that was the key, because they couldn't figure out how to make the Beast, like, look more sympathetic and threatening at the same time. They're like, no, why don't we use his eyes? And that, I think that worked, and I think that was a good idea. So I like that change. I like that change too. So I guess that is a pretty good change of having him die with his eyes open, because, you know, eyes are important in the windows to the soul. Also, I didn't recognize that was Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts. Why didn't they get Angela Lansbury again?
Because Angela Lansbury was originally Mrs. Potts.
I know. Why didn't they get her back, though?
What? Oh,
What?
I misheard what you
Oh,
said.
sorry. Yeah, no, I was wondering why and they didn't have recast Angela Lansbury into the role
Was she
of Miss
working on
Spots.
something else?
No, as far as I know.
I feel like she's on a TV show.
She? Damn, I don't know, but I kind of wanted her. I like Angela Lansbury. Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm okay. Emma Thompson did fine. She did a good job, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought all the acting was pretty good. I like Ian McKellen. Woo!
Yeah.
You can't pick a better Cogsworth, honestly, for live action, as him. And Ewan McGregor,
Mm-hmm.
that guy, Obi-Wan, young
Yes.
Obi-Wan.
Yes.
He's Lumiere, and I didn't recognize that was him until he turned back into him. I'm like, oh, I know who that is. So I guess that's a good thing, you know. I didn't recognize who it was, but I thought that was cool. I did like how they added the piano and being in this movie as a character. The
Yes.
harps, actually, it's more like a harpsichord, but they added him as a character. I like that, and I like that he and the wardrobe are married. and then they get to be together again with their dog.
Yep.
Who's a small white dog.
Also, we haven't even talked about Emma Watson at all in like an hour.
Oh, sure. Well, we talk about Emma Watson then. Oh, there's a lot to talk about, dude. Like,
That's true.
It's hard to get to everything. We'll get to as much as we can.
I felt like watching this movie and watching Emma Watson was like, you know, I think everyone like has this dream of like singing these very singable songs and like being able to be in a movie from them, and it just felt like she was living the dream.
I know, right? Emma Watson looks psyched to be there, honestly.
I think Josh Gad looked the most psyched.
Holy shit, Josh Gad was in it to win it. He loved doing, he loved doing his role.
I hope that was genuine, and he really did love doing it because he looked like he loved doing it.
As far as I know, yeah, because they told him about LeFou's sexuality, and you know, he was pretty informed about it, and when they asked him about it, he's like, yeah, LeFou's gay, like that's what he says, and so I think he did. But here's the weirdest thing about Josh Gad as LeFou. He looked like Jack Black.
He did.
What I was like, I know that's Josh Gad, I know that's not Jack Black, but he looks like Jack Black, and it's creeping me out, and I don't know why.
And I said I would be okay with Josh Gad becoming the next Jack Black.
That's okay, that's cool. I mean, granted, I don't think all of his comedies are that good. That he's been in Josh Gad. I mean, he was in Pixels.
I didn't watch Pixels.
Don't. It's weird. Hubert turns into a sexy woman at the end.
I know you have problems with that movie.
We should. You know what? We should watch it sometime since both of us like video games.
I think it's on our shitty movie list.
I think it is. So we'll watch that one day and regret it. But anyway, it was really weird when he looked like Jack Black. I was like, what? Why does he look like Jack Black? That's so strange.
But I do think I liked everyone in this movie.
Yeah,
like even like the weird little like tertiary characters. Like I liked them. Yeah,
like the three girls that swooned over Gaston.
So okay, and we've been listening to the soundtrack at work a lot, so I'd heard a lot of the music.
Yeah, I haven't heard it before. It was my first time.
It was good, but I remember listening to the soundtrack and hearing like the girls' voices during the opening number.
Yeah, Belle,
and I was like, oh, they're gonna be really good.
Yeah, I liked seeing them. I was like, wait, they're not blonde. God damn it, movie ruined. But no, I don't care. I just noticed that they weren't blonde.
I really liked this version of Gaston. I've heard it at work, and I really like this version.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job being Gaston. Granted, he didn't have a very strong chin like the original Gaston did.
I don't think it's possible to have that chin.
No, it's not. So I'm okay with that. But that was the only thing I just went, he doesn't have that chin, but that's okay. We can deal with it. Also, oh no, I just realized they did give him that kick-ass chair he has in the movie in the tavern.
Yeah.
You know that really one covered in hair and antlers?
Uh-huh.
Oh man, they didn't give him that. What a disappointment. Why didn't you guys give him a cool chair? So he could slouch in it like the villain he is. No. Oh well. What can you do? I like the tavern scene a lot, actually. I thought it did a good job.
Josh Gad was really good in that.
He was. He sold that song, man.
Intensely good.
He's a good singer. He really is. He should be more singing things, I think. Because he hasn't done too much since Frozen, besides this one. Off the top of my head.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, apparently there is a comedy movie where he sings Everyone Wants to Rule the World in the karaoke thing, but he probably does it badly because it's comedy and it's karaoke, so it's not the same. But
it takes a lot of talent to sing badly for film, though.
It does.
It's a surprising amount of work needed.
It's a lot of effort because you always accidentally hit the correct notes. I mean, I was in choir myself, so I don't know if I'm a great singer or anything. I don't think I am, but
I think you're a great singer.
thank you.
You're welcome.
But I do know how to sing badly too, which is fun.
She's good at it.
I am good at it. I love singing badly. It's
That's
hilarious.
amazing.
Especially when you want to hit the really high notes and you know you can't because you're not a soprano and you do it anyway because it's funny instead of, people who actually think they're sopranos but they're not. But anyway, people in this movie, they all sounded really good. Like, I thought all the voices were really good. Yeah, my only criticism is that the songs, they sound a little bit auto-tuney to me, but it might be because I'm used to the other ones. So I guess if I hadn't, like, seen the original movies or heard that music before, which I don't know how that's possible, but I suppose it is.
Maybe we should just take that up with Alan Menken.
Alan Bacon, I got questions, boy! Come through his window. Hey! I got some questions about your music, bro!
And I'm sure he'd appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure he won't be creeped out about that at all. Some random lady jumping through his window and screaming about Beauty and the Beast movie music. Yeah.
Also, I'm just gonna say this movie got me really psyched for live action Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Because I just feel like with how carefully constructed this movie was to address all of the things that were wrong with the original Beauty and the Beast, I think live action Little Mermaid is gonna have a lot to play with.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it looks like Disney's getting a little bit better at the live action game so far because Cinderella came out to okay reviews as far as I know, and the reception and it made money but it wasn't anything spectacular. In fact, I barely remember the movie.
I wonder how many people went to go see Cinderella to see Frozen Fever.
I bet a lot. I think that's why they put Frozen Fever in front of it, so people would go. But that's always been my theory. Anyway, and then I haven't seen live action Jungle Book, but
My mom said it was good.
your mom said it was
My mom has terrible taste in
Your mom
movies.
has terrible taste in movies,
That's
dude.
true.
So I'm not so sure about that, but I've heard the special effects are amazing. In fact, did it win the Oscar for it? I don't think it did. I don't know if it did. I know it was nominated for sure. I think it did.
Okay,
Yeah.
were the animals in Jungle Book real animals or CGI animals?
CGI, all CGI.
They were all CGI.
The whole movie is CGI.
My
except
boss
for
was
Mowgli.
saying they were real, and I was like, I don't think they were
They
real.
look real, but they're not. They're all CGI. The entire
By the way,
movie's
speaking
CGI.
of which, when remake Lion King comes out, what do we call it? Because it's not live action Lion King. I hope it's not live action Lion
They might
King.
just call it Lion King, dude.
But you know how we're saying like original Beauty and the Beast and then live action Beauty and the Beast.
Well, they're saying live action Jungle Book, and the only thing that's actually live in it is Mowgli.
But he's actually live. Like if they make
there is
Lion
no
King,
live in Lion King.
unless they do. What if they hire real lions? PETA would be on their ass.
Well, Peter would try and murder them, but Peter tries to murder anyone, even if you look at an animal. So
I am so torn. I don't know what to call remake Lion King. Can you tell I'm getting tired?
Yeah, a little bit. Hang in there, man.
Gotta go home.
Yeah, well, you could wrap this up.
Oh no, I'm fine. I love talking about beauty.
Are you okay?
I have you gave me dairy is what happened.
God damn it.
I don't get drunk on dairy.
She's lactose intolerant a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit. Not a lot,
but this white cheese thing is delicious.
Do you want me to take that away from you?
No, I'm gonna eat it.
Are you going to be okay?
I'm fine.
If she dies during this recording, you guys know why. It's all my cat's fault.
I love Disney. I'm allergic to cats too.
You are allergic to cats, but since Shadow's why am I talking about allergies? Come on, we're getting back on topic here.
Well, could people be allergic to the Beast?
What is his fur?
Does he have dander?
Does he? Does he shed?
I think all animals that have dander, someone's allergic to them. Oh, gross. Does he shed?
Probably does shed.
That's why there's 6 billion feather dusters.
I mean, that's why his following got so fucking dusty, is because no one ever cleaned anything, so there's animal hair everywhere.
Except dust is mostly skin cells. So is all that dust from him?
Yeah.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Yay!
Castle's filthy.
I hope they dusted that bed off before Belle slept in it.
They didn't, remember?
Well, I mean, I meant later.
Yeah,
in the movie.
later.
I mean, at the first we did see it was dusty, but I'm assuming that the feather dusters went and cleaned it up, or the royal laundry people did.
Yeah.
Speaking of laundry, actually, that's something I wanted to bring up. Something that they added to it is Belle making her own washing machine with a barrel, doing the laundry. So what she did is she took a barrel and she put her clothes in the water with the soap, and she attached it to, like, it was a donkey, I think?
Donkey, yep.
That had the donkey walk in a circle, therefore, and the barrel was turning, therefore making a washing machine. And I thought that was really neat that they had her do that.
I mean, speaking of women in engineering.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Like, I kind of like seeing Belle, like, being inventive like that. That was really cool. And during that scene, we also got a bit more of her authorization because she was teaching the little girl how to read. And then some of the townspeople got pissy at her, and like, at first I thought they were gonna grab the barrel and dump her laundry on her head and on her book. That's what I thought they were gonna do, but no, they just dumped her laundry onto the ground and made her be like, "Fuck you!" Spills laundry all over the ground, which I have to say is really a dick move to do because, I mean, she's cleaning her laundry, dude, and just dropped it all over the ground. But I thought they were gonna dump it on her, so it could have been a lot worse, I guess. But I did like that they put that there. That she's like, you know, she's an outcast. Like, it's not just them saying, you know, bonjour, bonjour, that song, the Belle song. It's, they actually, like, when she did something that was considered, like, not normal, why you're teaching children how to read, we'll teach her a lesson, fucking dumps her laundry on the ground, fuck you, walks away. I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Well, nice, but I thought that was a good inclusion, I should say. Yes.
Sort of, jumping back, I just have a tidbit. I mean, we'll talk about this and we will talk about the animated Beauty and the Beast, but so when Ashman and Menken wrote Belle, they said no one had done that before. That's a 7-minute opening number.
Yeah, that's a long-ass number.
No one had done that for an animated movie before like that.
Not that I can think of, no.
That's a Broadway thing.
It is a Broadway thing.
You don't do that in movies, and they're like, let's do it.
Why do you think that works so well for Broadway, Beauty and the Beast, or a lot of Disney musicals do, but it's because they're made like Broadway.
Yeah, stage shows. I mean, like, they got Jodie Benson for Little Mermaid because she was a, stage singer.
Yeah, they did. There was quite a few of the ladies who voiced them are stage singers.
Full circle, yeah, Leah Salonga, Idina Menzel.
Okay, yes. Yeah. In fact, that's what she was mostly known for, was theater before, and Rent, before Frozen happened. Then Frozen happened, now she's like a big deal, which makes me happy. I like Idina Menzel. She's a cool lady. And
Wicked.
I love Wicked. Oh my god. I don't want to cry over Wicked because I love it so much. I've seen it, how many times? I've seen it 10 times. I'm dead serious. I've seen Wicked 10 times. And I want to see it again. And I would see it again.
I'll watch it. I've never seen it.
But if it comes to excuse me. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, if it comes to nearby us, we should go. I'm okay.
I know you didn't intend to say the name of the city where we live.
Shit. I can edit it out.
You should bleep it. You should bleep it. Oh man.
I don't know how to bleep things.
I know. You should send me this file and I'll bleep it.
Okay, I'll definitely have you bleep it. That's hilarious. That would be funny. Live in You should probably, like, insert Emerald City. We live in the Emerald City. Just bringing Wizard of Oz in this.
Surprised we live in a small provincial town.
Whoa, full of little people. They're all here to say bonjour. Wait, no. What's up?
What's up?
We live in the States, not in France. Sad face. Or maybe not. I don't know.
But the place where we live was settled by French settlers.
True.
That's why we named our city the name that you said that I'm going to bleep out.
I kind of said it. I didn't say it all the way.
It's pretty distinctive.
Okay, fine. Fucking. Well, I mean, let's move on from that anyway. For me being an idiot, but let's move on. Stop that. Making that expression. She's judging me.
I am. I always judge you.
God damn it. Fuji, I'm gonna kick your ass.
I know you are.
Anyway, enough of me about me kicking my friend's ass. Let's go on to Beauty and the Beast and Wicked and all that good stuff. Is there anything else they added in the movie? Like, they added the people forgot about the royalty thing. They added
Eternal Winter.
I kind of like that. That was pretty cool.
I like that too.
Looked nice too.
Yes. We didn't
a lot more with LeFou.
We didn't stick LeFou out in front of Belle's house for apparently months.
That would have gone so bad. Oh my gosh. I don't want to see, like, Frozen Josh Gad. You know what? I think that's why they didn't do it, because it would be too easy to make this Olaf joke.
It would have been really easy to make an Olaf joke.
Because he's disguised as a snowman in the animated version.
Oh, that's so bad.
Actually, now I kind of wish they did that. That would have been pretty funny, but anyway.
You know what I realized I'm looking forward to?
Hmm.
If Constable Frozen does something with this one.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Constable Frozen, in case no one knows this. Or...
look them up. They're on Tumblr.
Yeah, you know what? Just look them up. They're very good at editing.
Constable-Frozen.
Mm-hmm. They're very good at editing. Let's just put it that way.
Very good.
Like, so good that it's kind of unbelievable. When Frozen Fever came out, people were like, "Is that an
real?
edit from Constable Frozen, or is it real?" That's how good they are.
I want to take the Gaston part and edit out Josh Gad and put in Olaf.
Hey, you, everything's the same, but LeFou's replaced by Olaf. Snowman running around, and he's like, "There's no such thing as a beast," says the snowman. Oh my god!
Oh, I shouldn't laugh.
That's beautiful. I would watch it. I'd be okay with that. I'd be like, okay, sure. What else did I liked how the house looked in this one. I also liked how they made her dad, like, not be making, like, a weird axe machine, but he's, like, making a music box. I'm guessing that's what it was.
Yep, to sell.
To be, like, a more, like, gear-based person, like, more mechanical. And he wasn't going to a fair, he was going to a market. And I thought that, I kind of liked that change. I think it was, I guess it's weird to say it made it more realistic.
I think it made Maurice less weirdly eccentric.
Yeah.
Which I like. Like, he's still definitely eccentric, and he still definitely doesn't fit in, but it made him less, like, humorously weird, and it kind of added, like, a little bit of, maybe, like, humanity to him, so that when he comes in and he's, you know, ranting and raving about a beast, that, like, people aren't like, crazy old Maurice.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's weird, but he's, you know, an accepted part.
Yeah, he's the same dude. Like, he's just kind of, he's a little quirky, but...
So I think that really drove it up. Like, when he came in, you know, yelling about Belle being kidnapped by a beast, like, everyone's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, like, "Maurice, what's wrong, man? You're alright." And also, you know, when he... So here's something they added that we should talk about a bit about, is, they added Maurice, Gaston, after Maurice came into the bar, instead of Gaston having him kicked out, he goes, "Okay, I'll go with you," because... he and LeFou go with Maurice into the woods, and Maurice is just trying to get them to go to the castle, but it's a little bit difficult because enchantment and all that good stuff. And the plan I think Gaston had in mind was to, like, get him alone to try and convince him to let him for his blessing to marry Belle. And of course, Maurice, being Maurice and respects his daughter's wishes, says fuck no. And he's like, "Alright," and Gaston is like, "Alright," punches him in the face, and it's like, "Alright, we're gonna tie him up and leave him to the wolves, or to die of exposure." And LeFou is really uncomfortable with that. Obviously, he's like, "Really? Should we really do that?" And he's like, "Yep, that's what we're gonna do." Okay.
LeFou became a good guy in this movie.
I really
an unquestionably good guy.
I liked what they did with LeFou in this movie. I really did. I mean,
did you know LeFou in the animated movie was played by the guy who voices Neku's dad
from Roland's View?
Yeah.
Oh no, I did not know that.
The guy who voices Neku, his dad played LeFou.
Weird. That's awesome, though.
I made a comic about this once.
I'm sure you did.
I
You
did.
Fucking nerd. But then, like, Maurice is left in the woods to, like, die, but then Agatha, the secret fairy enchantress, or whatever, same thing.
She's not Fae.
Yeah, no, she is Fae, dude.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she is. What other creature would, like, decide to do that, though?
She's just a sorceress.
No, she's Fae, dude. Did you see that form she was taking? That's not, like, normal. Like, if she was a sorceress, she wouldn't be able to do that. Or at least not normally in mythology.
Okay.
She's a Fae, man. Like, she calls her... Fae can call themselves whatever they like, but that's what she is. I mean, that's the title they call in the movie, is Enchantress, but she's a Fae. It's a type of Fae. Anyway, she finds Maurice and rescues him, basically. And it's like, you know, feeds him. And so he goes back to the village, and Gaston arrives back there, gets inside the bar. Everyone in the town is there, and they're all, like, glaring at Gaston. And one of the dudes, Mr. Potts, who we later find out, he goes up and goes, "Gaston, did you try and kill Maurice?" And he's like, no. And it took a while for them to believe them until LeFou also said that wasn't the case, and that Maurice was nuts. And then Gaston was able to sway them back to his side. But it did show at first they did believe Maurice and be like, "Gaston, that motherfucker, I can't believe he tried to kill you. We're gonna confront them because he can't get away with this." And I kind of liked that. I thought that was a little bit more development in how the townsfolk work. And yeah, they're kind of cattle mentality kind of deal, but it doesn't mean they're not like, you know, not inhuman. Also, here's another thing they added that they really didn't have in the original. There were ladies in the mob in the castle. You see them
Yep.
get hit in the face.
Yep.
One lady gets like smacked in the chest by the dog and like launches her off the stairs. I was like, wow. Like there's like I kind of like that addition because I was like, because in the movie that always bothered me. You see ladies mobbing up, and then in the castle you don't see any. And I was like, what continuity errors, guys? Like, but they had that no continuity errors here. I kind of like that. In the musical, they always had like everybody go and be that. But usually it's because there's X amount of villagers for each a group of to go mob the Beast Castle. I don't know what is that all they added? I'm trying to think of everything they added.
That's all I can think of for now.
Yeah, besides expanding a bit on the Beast's backstory, which honestly is a lot of stuff that you could probably infer, but it's kind of nice to like see it, you know. What else?
I think I may have run out of things.
You think I may have run out of things for now?
Or energy.
Well, I can believe energy for sure because it's almost like 11 o'clock. We went to the 6 o'clock screen.
About
of
7,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, so I could see why you'd be tired. So, all right, any final thoughts? Because overall, I liked it.
I liked it. Go see it.
Please go see it.
If you like the original, you'll like this one. Like
Well,
that's
pretty much, yeah.
That's how it was described to me before. If you like the original, you're gonna like this one, and I think that's true.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think that if you like the original Beauty Beast, you're not going to be disappointed by this one, and it's kind of nice to have the expansion too. And I'm glad they handled the expansion okay, because that could easily go really badly. But no, I think they did it pretty well. Like I think they handled it tactfully.
I like this. It felt more like a slow burn than the original did.
It did, didn't it?
And I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, like I can see why if someone would like not like that as much, but like I was okay with it myself. So yeah, I say go see it, support this one, encourage Disney to make Mulan just as good.
I think Mulan's gonna be good.
I'm so excited for live action Mulan. Oh man, and also
they're definitely putting the songs in right for Mulan.
I think so. If they don't, because
there was a rumor they weren't going to, and there was like huge backlash.
Why would they not do that? Especially Make a Man of You is like the best Cloud song
to business
to defeat the Huns. No, stop. We gotta wait for the movie to sing that. We gotta wait. We gotta hold it.
It's like I love it. You walk in a crowded room and you yell, "Let's get down to business."
It's
Someone
like,
will answer
at least
you.
one or two or more people will respond to it. Like it's funny because in Mulan they probably expected Reflection to be like the super popular song, but no, it was Make a Man Out of You.
See, they push Reflection super hard. All the Disney compilation CDs that we get into work, they all have Reflection. I'm like, this is not the song.
I mean, Reflection's a good song and a lot of people like it, but no, Make a Man Out of You is the best one and everybody loves that one. So much so that when the sequel rolled around, the very first song in that movie is like Make a Man Out of You. That one's called Lesson Number 1, and it's the only song I remember from that movie, but that's neither here nor there. But anyway, yeah, I hope, it makes me, like, because I wasn't so sure about this live action thing, and yeah, it's still a cash grab and all that good stuff, but, I wasn't sure about it.
This is the modern version of, let's put Cinderella in theaters.
It really is, like, crap, we need some money. Well, in this case, it's like, we need more money. Star Wars is making us money, but we need more throughout the year. Let's do this. And it also gives people, like, a chance to, like we said, like, to revisit these stories and improve on them. And I think that's what they did. They didn't really choose to do that in Cinderella, but or Jungle Book, it sounds like.
This is the thing, is that because Cinderella and Jungle Book came out in, like, the 50s,
right? Cinderella's 50s, Jungle Book 60s.
50s and 60s. So, I mean, a lot of the people who would have worked on those don't get their chance to work on it again.
No, they're all gone. Probably everyone that's worked on Cinderella is not alive anymore.
So now that we're starting to see, the Disney Renaissance movies coming back, those people are still around. You know, Alan Menken's still here.
He's still here.
Still doing work and getting a ginormous credit, out of it. And like,
it was like his name, big letters, Alan Menken. I'm like, yeah, hi, Alan Menken.
And furthermore, like people like us who grew up watching those movies, now get a chance to fix canon.
Yay! Who doesn't like to fix canon?
Anyway,
but that's what I think about it.
Go see it.
Yeah, I say go see it. Both of us liked it. It looks like. Wait, I don't know why it's not ambiguous at all, but I'm being tired too. Okay.
Go to bed.
You're telling me that.
Yeah, I am telling you that.
Fucking Christ, Fuji, you're such a hypocrite. I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna go fight her, and we're gonna go to the boxing ring. That's definitely in my house.
Yep.
Well, I'll use my cat. Wherever he went.
He's over here.
Oh, he's over here? Okay. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I see him. All right. That's all I got to say. We'll see you next time.